All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to tune in. If you are new to the channel, I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Of course, we're going to be covering the Sebastian Rogers case. Been covering it for a couple weeks now. Been breaking down the lights video. Been doing some experiments. Been also speaking with some locals who've seen my work and have been impressed and been trying to help me and share some inside information. And so today we've got even more inside information to share with you, along with more stuff that I've discovered in these videos. It seems every time I look at these videos, there's something new that just kind of pops out. And also, thanks to people sending in tips. I try to get back to everybody. Please keep in mind, it's just me here, and I get literally hundreds of emails. Not kidding. So I do try to respond to a lot of them. But before we get started with Sebastian Rogers, what we like to do on this channel is we always like to get back by featuring missing people. So real quick, before we get into all the big news and new things that we've discovered, this is Ariel Valdez. She was last seen on August 28th around 6:30. This was in Fort Myers, Florida. She was caught, I think, seen jogging in a video. She is 5'4", 100 pounds, brown curly hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing a beige hoodie. You can actually kind of see it here, and I'll blow it up, but beige hoodie, gym shorts, black and white Converse sneakers. It goes on to say she was last seen leaving her home in North Fort Myers, Florida. She was on foot, wearing what we just described. She was caught on that security footage traveling southbound on US 41 from Pondella Road in North Fort Myers. Additional cameras captured her continuing southbound towards the Edison Bridge. Just kind of goes over her clothing and stuff. Ariel does not have any personal items on her, including her phone. Does not have any personal. Oh, wow. So she doesn't have her phone, her Apple Watch. Oh, that's terrible. So no way to track her other than if somebody captures her on Ring camera or something. Wait, she was found? She was found? Wait, no, what? Oh, she was? And I missed this? I was looking up everything. Okay, then never mind. My apologies. Boy, that's what happens when you get stuck on one case. She was found? Oh, that's terrible. I didn't see that. I kept my eye on it the last few days, and there was like an update on September 2nd. So what was this? Like, it had been like yesterday? Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Ah, that's a bummer. Okay. Well, we always try to get back by featuring missing people. And I did not see that. That's weird. It said the last update was on September 2nd. Wow, she was found. Where was she found? Oh, she had her watch. Okay, so the notes were off. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, at least they found her, but they believe foul play. I'll have to look into that. I remember that, like, seeing that video, and I'm like, God, I got to look into that. And then I seen it, like, featured. There's a site that I get my missing people from, and they usually update. And then if they've found the body, they'll usually, like, tag them, like, just below. They'll say, like, found, you know. And it didn't say any information. So, and then the last update, according to it, was September 2nd, which was 2 days ago. So, oh, that's terrible. Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, we do try to get back by featuring, you know, other people, but I guess my notes were wrong. All right, moving on to Sebastian Rogers. Let me turn this up real quick. Now, I know most of you are familiar with this case, but I always like to play like just a few minute recap just to kind of play for anybody that may not be familiar with his case. But this is Sebastian Rogers. Been missing since February 26. It's been over 6 months now. We just hit the 6-month mark about a week and a half ago. And here is his kind of just basic story of how he went missing. Last seen Sunday night on February 25th by his mother, Katie Proudfoot. The next morning on the 26th, his mother went to wake Rogers up and get him ready for school, but Rogers was nowhere to be seen. Sebastian Rogers was allegedly wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, his glasses, and his keychain flashlight. They also claimed that all of his shoes were accounted for, which means he is most likely barefoot. His case has garnered a lot of media attention, which has helped get his tragic story out to the masses. There has been numerous searches for Sebastian Rogers, including a landfill search in the beginning, to groundwater and air searches. Okay, so just a quick recap on his disappearance. Again, if you've seen my previous lives, I usually play a little bit of the same stuff, but I promise you I've got a bunch of new stuff and new information we're going to go over. Tons of new stuff, including talking about the reward, which started at 50,000 and now correct me in chat, because last time I looked, it goes up, but it's at 75, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We got Dog the Bounty Hunter coming in. But the FBI and the statement they made is very interesting. We'll play this clip here.
And we were very pleased to hear about the $50,000 reward. That's going to be very helpful.
Yes, now the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to the missing 15-year-old with autism.
I hope that's the catalyst to make something move.
Ken Widener with Sumner County EMA heads up the continuing search effort for Sebastian. To date, they've found no trace of the teen. Yes, it's possible Sebastian wandered off on his own, but the FBI reward money concedes the very real possibility.
I'm curious. Does anybody know? When I see this little clip, I'm just curious.
Does
anyone know if this is a new clip or if this is an old one? I would be really curious to know. Is that the FBI, like, working the case, like, confirmed? Out there, running tests and scenarios. If anybody knows if this is like an old news clip, because I've never seen this clip before of these two guys here, and I've seen a lot of news clips. So if anybody can let me know in chat if they've seen this, months before, but just kind of curious if this is a new clip.
FBI reward money concedes the very real possibility of foul play.
If somebody were to have done something and they told somebody something, it may be what it takes for that person to get that off their chest and make the right decision.
And now the TBI references the reward for information leading to Sebastian or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance.
I mean, that's a big statement. I know we've kind of mentioned this before, but right there, the reward goes to Sebastian, to the return of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. Man, that's pretty black and white. I mean, pretty straightforward.
Responsible for his disappearance. Now, remember, investigators have never named any suspects. Any evidence of foul play?
We have.
All right. Let me get to chat real quick here, and then we're going to run through the lights real quick because I know a lot of people have seen this before, but keep in mind there's new people that come along and have never seen the lights overlay, so that's why I still play them. Plus, it's just part of the story that may, in my opinion, is what happened that night. And I do think these are, these lights it's a good possibility of the little evidence that we have in this case, like physical evidence of what happened or possibly happened to Rogers that night. So I always think it's huge to play this and where things are going on in that neighborhood and then trying to put those puzzle pieces together. And like I said, I'm always trying to look at it. I took a day off yesterday. I had to unwind, and that was nice to kind of just flush everything out, take a day off. But now coming back at it again today, discovered some new things. And then, of course, I've had more information shared with me with some locals, of course. And, of course, we'll get into that in a bit. Let me get to chat real quick. We got almost 1,000 people in here. Thank you guys so much. If you can, hit that like button. It helps this channel out. Not only do we go out and not only we cover true crime, but we do go out and search for the missing. There's a case, Aidan. You can look at the playlist in my channel. He's a teen that went missing in Wells, Nevada 2 years ago, and we've been searching for him. We found his shoes, the first physical evidence ever found in that case. Same thing in like this case, we went right back to the beginning and looked at the little clues that were there, put those together, and we went out searching, and it led to finding his shoes. Unfortunately, it just cost a lot to go out and search, so, supporting the channel does help us go out and search. All right. Gil Hurd coming in. Oops, there it is. Thank you so much. Amazing supporter of the channel. Gifting 5 mob crew memberships. Thank you so much. If you do get gifted, please, if you could, thank Gail. That is so sweet. Thank you so much, Gail. Not only gifting 5, but 10? Is that what? Or did it pop up twice? Sometimes it pops up twice. Either way, thank you so much, Gail. You are amazing. There's Gail. My son and wife have friends. My son and wife have a friend's daughter missing. It's in your Facebook. Okay, I will look at that. Oh, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, if I get a chance, Gil, I will, while we're doing stuff, I will pull up another window and I'll see if I can get that information and we'll put it up here, if that'll work, to get that out there. I am so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much for the donation. I will check my Facebook. I promise you. We will get that information out here today. So originally, the lights, we'll blow through this real quick. They had, kind of talked about them. Nick Barris released them. I came from this home to the left that we're looking at. And basically, it was shared to another family member or friend. And then they had noticed something. And then they had told Nick Barris. And then it was kind of leaked out. But then, people asked about it, and the law enforcement kind of blew it off. Same with the family, said it didn't have really anything to do with the case itself and his disappearance. And then somebody did an overlay weeks or a month later, kind of basically saying that the floodlights were up here and that the lights were kind of going across the street. And then I have decided I wanted to kind of look into the case and start at the beginning, and I started looking at the lights and looking at their overlay, and then I just kind of just looking at, just basic measurements and math and science, and it's like things weren't adding up, and so here's me kind of putting it together here.
Put all the pieces to the puzzle together, using an overlay and basic math and measurements to overlay the video of the potential abduction of Rogers. But what I'm going to share in today's video will again shock you to your core, as the people who were involved in this potential abduction likely did a practice run and more nefarious activities nights before Rogers disappeared. Now, I understand some don't believe this is the proper overlay, but I can assure you that after speaking with the locals, they have confirmed this is the correct area. The top right area of the camera is pointed. Notice the floodlights on the left, and the single floodlight on the right line up. The potential abduction.
Off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
And then here's Chris Proudfoot himself talking about how the dog scent. Another thing that, was weird in this case that, law enforcement says no. And then, the family, then Chris Proudfoot comes out, says that, yeah, there was a hit with the dogs. There was a couple of them because I guess they had a bunch of different dogs come out. Some hit, some didn't. And then they had a press conference saying it was a false positive. So it was another, scenario where it was like you couldn't tell, did it have relevance to the case or not? But then when you hear what he says, the direction the dogs go, it's really eerie because it follows the same track as these lights do. So I'm just going to play that real quick here, and I'm getting the information from this missing teenage girl.
If you're looking at my house,
Okay.
it's going to be the right-hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard. And that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that,
This is a combination of the path the lights were going, and according to what Chris Proudfoot claims, the direction of where the scent dogs went. In my opinion, it's clear that they are taking the same exact path, according to my overlay, Chris Proudfoot, and what the neighbors have mentioned, they all line up. Is this just some crazy coincidence? I believe not.
and then
Okay, now we're gonna mention. Okay, before we mention new information, now we got a lot of people in here. If we can, I just want to mention something. So again, on this channel, we like to get back as much as we can and feature missing people. And right now, we have somebody in our chat, and we do take requests. Oh gosh, I'm looking for my folder. Here we go. We have a missing girl, teenage girl, right here. This is Ava. Is it Ava Perez? I can't see a last name. So here's the post. It says, Ava did not come home from school yesterday. She left school sometime after 10 a.m. yesterday. She left all of her belongings in her car in the school parking lot. If anyone has information, you can contact Chapman at the Angleton Police Department. Is it Angleton? Yeah, Angleton Police Department. And that's at 979-308-6569. Please help find my baby. And this is coming from the mother. Do we have a full name that I can look up? Is it Ava Perez? Because her mother's last name is Perez. I just see Ava here. If you could let me know, Gil, and I'll see if I can get some more information pulled up on her. Little Blue, I think it's Little Blue. Thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You are so awesome. I appreciate your support. Where is Angleton? If somebody can let me know in chat. I'll look it up if not. Honestly, me, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. You are a legend. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Let's see. June coming in with the $5 super chat. Getting closer to finding Sebastian. Hit that like button. You all you beautiful people. Yeah, we have an amazing community, and that just goes to show how much you guys care, and you guys are truly amazing. Angleton, yeah, where is Angleton? Is it Angleton, right? Not Angel. Let's see. Sorry, I can't look. I can't find Gail. Gail, if you could put some information in mods, if you could highlight it for me, I'll see if I can find more information as we go along. So we can figure out the state and everything, because that really doesn't give me a lot. It gives the picture, but I want to make sure we get the most information out there. And Hope in the Shadows, thank you so much for the $3 super sticker. That is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. All right, we'll get back to Ava, and as soon as we get some more information. Okay, Sebastian Rogers, as we talked about before, this car, early on we had heard different stories. The neighbor, Miss Bobby, real sweet lady, she came on and she kind of talked about how she heard the car had supposedly stayed near the sorry, there's a dog barking. Stafford and Kellen. And then later on, after I did my overlays and stuff, a bunch of locals kind of were talking, and I had some other sources. And they had told me, and this is kind of a bunch of locals talking with each other, and they had said they're pretty sure that this vehicle actually drove all the way down Kellen, which is really bizarre. You know, if this is involved in the abduction, if there was an abduction, again, we're kind of talking theory. But if this is what happened, why would they go down all the way up to Kellen Ave? Roger's home, for those that don't know, is right here. So why would they go down this road? Well, it just so happens that there is multiple cameras. I don't know how many exactly homes on this Kellen Ave actually have, cameras, like Arlo or Ring cams. But we know one for sure was fried, and that's the word that they used, that their Ring door camera was actually fried. Then there was a possible other one they weren't sure, but they believed was acting funny. This is all around the same time Sebastian Rogers went missing. And now, recently, speaking with one of my sources, they told me... because some of the neighbors have been talking that confirmed at least 2 cameras were knocked out that night, which is pretty wild from what I understand. And we'll kind of explain, if you don't know how that can happen, and we will explain that. But from what I understand, at least 2, possibly 3 Ring cam, Arlo cams, dash cam, or not dash cam, but Ring cam were knocked out, which is very eerie.
Now, before I go further, it was told to me by the locals that a home towards the top of Kellen Avenue actually had some kind of Ring camera system.
Okay.
But it was not working that night due to the fact they claim it was apparently fried and had to get a new one. I'll explain why. This is a huge deal, and how it likely pertained to the events that happened the night Rogers disappeared.
So then the car comes back down, and they believe it stops here. Now, in my diagram, I have 2 people coming out. This is just to kind of show 2 different sides. So either it's an inside job or an outside job. So again, if it was an outside job, then you would have at least 2 people coming out, because we're going to have 2 lights coming back, more or less. If it's an inside job, then I guess 1 person would get out, and you would have the driver. And then you would have, obviously it was an inside job, somebody at the household escorting Sebastian Rogers between the yards. What's very interesting is what they label subject 1 doesn't really come out. They just kind of stay behind the first home, almost like kind of like a spotter, which is kind of interesting, just maybe to make sure everything's going smooth, because they're going to have to go down. So what you can't see behind this gazebo, and this is a great shot captured by Stephen Crabtree, who's been covering this case. And he got this amazing drone shot for me. So shout out to him. Definitely check out his TikTok and channel. But there's a ditch, and it gets pretty deep. If I recall, he said like 4 to 5 feet deep. I guess kind of depending. And this was actually built so water would flow. This is so it doesn't flood, if it rains really hard. This was built on purpose to allow the water to flow into probably some kind of drain. But as we go up and we see the footage, again, I won't play a lot of it because I know you've seen it if you've been here a bunch of times, but just want to play it for anybody that hasn't seen it. But we do see subject 2 literally pop out between the 2 homes from where Rogers. Then we have what appears to be some kind of, I don't know if it's a struggle, but it's kind of interesting, and I'm going to play that part again. So you have subject 1 here, and they're kind of in between the 2 homes here, and it seems like they're just kind of hanging out, maybe just kind of like on Overwatch, just making sure everything's going smooth. And then, of course, they disappear. And here's me running it under running under negative. And eventually we'll see subject 2 come back up. But before that, subject 1 now kind of disappears behind the home. And just after that, we see subject 2, who in theory could be escorting Rogers to the car. And then it's interesting because right here, and it was really tough because this is when the camera gets shaky, and I've kind of explained how this footage was, extracted. And yeah, they kind of sit here for a minute. It's kind of interesting. It's something I've been and you'll notice he kind of blacks out, which means his light's getting blocked. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Not sure what to make of it. But moving along here.
Stafford Street.
After that, then the car at some point, and this is the big question, especially if it's an inside job, if you went and you knocked out all these cameras, and you got them coming between the 2 homes, why would you turn down onto Stafford Street?
Behavior is odd, but can be explained as to why they
really
would do
weird.
this. So here is the leaked footage of the car in question. Turning on their headlights, you actually see a light behind the car for a brief second. This is possibly one of the subjects. Now, why would the car pull up near this home with security camera? Well, we're going to explain a potential reason as to why. And again, what I'm about to share comes from this homeowner and other locals. One of the things they shared about the footage is that the clip that shows a subject heading back towards the Rogers home did apparently come after the other videos, and it's believed this happened after the suspicious car had left the neighborhood.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a minute, but the car for some reason parks in front of the Stafford Street, kind of near the camera for some reason, and then would eventually back up and leave killing. And it's really strange. Why would you turn onto Stafford for a little bit, only to then back up and then leave, which is just really strange. Unless you were maybe trying to knock this camera out, which there could be a couple ways they could do that. But again, the camera that has this footage was hardwired, thank goodness. The cameras that we mentioned that got knocked out, for those that don't understand the jammers and how they work, and we're going to look at that here in a minute, they're wireless. And so they're easier to, obviously, using certain equipment, what they call jammers, they can jam and make that footage literally disappear just by a switch of a button, which is really scary. So let me pause this real quick here, and I'm going to play a few things, explain how these jammers work. And I think it's no coincidence that, from what I understand, one door ring cam, I always want to say dash cam, one ring cam, and then an Arlo cam, from what I understand, was knocked out. And Arlo, I think, is the same thing. It's wireless, and if there was a jammer running, it would be knocked out. And so, again, there's multiple cameras on Killen that had missing footage, or they're just the Ring cameras were, ruined, which is really strange. Carol says, "App Reticle, you're hard workers, Chris." Thank you so much, Carol. I really appreciate the $1.99. Ginger Girl says that many cameras fried at one time is no coincidence. Yeah. At least 2. We're talking at least 2 from what I understand. They're saying were knocked out. Which is just beyond wild. And we'll talk about somebody who knows a lot about that kind of equipment here in a little bit. Leosa, I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. Sweet Dreams, thank you so much for the $4.99. Let's see. Okay, awesome, Rhonda. Thank you so much. I will, after I explain a little bit of this, I will pull that up. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for sending that in and helping Gil out. That is so awesome. So again, yeah, why would this car go up this road? If you were going to abduct Sebastian, why not just go to the 2 houses there? Do your thing. Unless you really wanted to get rid of any potential evidence. Maybe, let's say if it was an inside job, maybe they weren't sure what cameras were pointed where. Maybe they were familiar with some of the cameras, but maybe they didn't know, because obviously cameras are very small, and even doing surveillance, it could miss one. So maybe they didn't want to take any chances of, let's say like a neighbor a few houses down, even though it's on Kellen, pointed down towards kind of Stafford, towards the Rogers neighborhood. If it was pointed that way, maybe they didn't want to risk that, so they drove up that way to knock out the cameras. Again, just a theory. But let's just look at this guy showing it happen in real time here. And I apologize for this video. I think he has like some construction going on, so there's some weird noise that kind of comes in, but it's just a short clip here. So he has his Ring camera set up here. Let me move this again. There we go. So he has his Ring camera set up here. He has his notifications set to his phone and his Apple Watch. And he says that now he's going to activate that jammer. And he shows he's going to... Well, here, I'll just play the clip.
My watch and on my phone. Now this takes about a minute to reset, so when I come back, I'm going to show you how criminals evade these devices and why you probably shouldn't rely on them for the security of your property.
Okay, so I think he did that already. I was trying to shorten it as much as I can. But he showed by just putting his hand, waving his hand in front, and then he'd got a notification on his phone and his Apple Watch letting him know that there was motion detected. So now...
Okay, so the doorbell is now reset. So this is a state that it would be in overnight or when you're waiting for visitors or deliveries, etc. Now, the piece of tech that criminals use to evade these devices is one of these. Now this is a 5-channel signal jammer, and this will jam everything from GPS that you use for satellite communication to cell phone calls, messages, and anything that uses Wi-Fi or wireless infrastructure. So this won't just jam Ring video doorbells, like I said, it will jam your phone, text messages if you use wireless camera systems, or alarms if you use Verisure or Arlo or anything like that. This device renders all of these completely useless. Now, this is still in the same setup as before, so we've got the Ring video doorbell and also the Chime Pro within my property. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds to work, but this has probably been on for that long now. Now these are really easily accessible to criminals, and this is a handheld device, but you do get much larger devices which are connected to things like car batteries. So this can quite easily be done from the end of your driveway or even from up the street to your property. As well as that, it will also block car key signals. So when you leave your vehicle, if you don't go to lock your car and one of these are around, then it won't lock the vehicle. This is what people use in multi-story car parks, so that when you buzz your car, they can then come back and steal from your car, and you don't.
So this jammer can actually jam cars. It can jam garage doors. A lot of things that are set up to like Wi-Fi signals. It's kind of scary.
I don't know how, and this is exactly how it's done. Now, what we'll see is if we go up to the Ring video doorbell, straight away, I'm now not getting any motion alerts at all. Now, no criminal is going to come and ring your doorbell. So what we've done here is effectively stop this working. Because there's no local storage on the device, this now can't communicate that motion detect up to the cloud and then down to our device.
So what it's doing in theory is it's sending a signal to the Wi-Fi, and I may even get this wrong, but from what I understand, it keeps sending a signal, turning it off, sending it that, telling it that there's no internet. So it keeps thinking that this, so the Ring camera, obviously is, getting its source from the internet, the Wi-Fi, but this jammer jams the signal coming in, right? So, you got a constant Wi-Fi signal coming into your Ring camera here, but with the jammer, it cuts off the signal, so it's trying to, but it can't connect because the jammer is there, and so it effectively thinks that there's no Wi-Fi.
Devices. So for all intents and purposes, I'm now not here. There is no way of you knowing that I've been here. So I can now walk around your property, still film your cars, do anything.
So I wonder what the range is.
So now this is, so what the guy before had a pretty serious device. Those are one of the more ones that are, I think were probably could have been used in the Rogers, in this case. There's also this device. It's a little bit cheaper. It's the flipper that, remember, I think Steven had talked about. But just to show you the range, just on even a cheap one.
Is on that.
Yep. So we found that to be 100% effective. Our well was that, like 3 meters away?
Yeah.
And then 5 meters away, 7 meters away. So as long as I'm in the house, jamming.
Thank you so much, Mama.
What if you're out on the street?
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So from the end of Lee's drive, we're going to jam.
Jamming?
And Lee's going to use the other key fob. Nope.
Wow.
So what about if I'm over here? You get a bit closer.
Nope. Go around the corner. I'm not going to tell him I'm not going to push the button, though. So, Beard's over there. Garage door. Clicker. Nope. Oh, yeah. 15 meters.
So as you can see, just kind of show you, he's using that device, kind of across the street. So if someone was driving by, even with the cheap one, could knock, that out. And I think he set up to 15 meters, which I can't even think of meters to yards, but they're fairly close. But yeah, it's pretty scary that they can get these kind of devices. Jacqueline says, Mob Chris should get a hefty portion of reward. What'd be the reward is they find Sebastian and he's alive. That's enough reward for me. I'm good. Put that towards the next missing person. But I do appreciate that, Jacqueline. That is very sweet of you.
Gonna tell him I'm not gonna push the button, though.
Oh shoot! Did I back that up? I'm sorry. So anyway, so who would know about jammers, right? Who would have that kind of knowledge? And again, we're just talking theory. We are not accusing anybody directly. Obviously, we are just speaking in theory. But Katie Proudfoot, although she doesn't talk a lot, it seems Chris Proudfoot does a lot of the talking. But she is a very smart person. And let's just look at if anybody doesn't know her history. Right now, and I don't know if she still has this job, but she was working for Brinks. I'm sure most people have heard of Brinks, pretty well-known company. She works as an installation technician. What did they do? So that's installing, programming, repair, and inspection of fire alarm systems, burglary, and CCTV. That is Ring cameras, security cameras, you name it. That is her job. That's what she's been doing for 3 years and 7 months. What'd she do before that? Oh, she did interior communications electrician in the U.S. Navy, and we'll talk about that. Oof. When
a building fire breaks out,
she clearly knows a lot about this kind of stuff.
Or a burglar breaks in, the people involved want to be alerted as soon as possible.
When they need an installation for stuff, now a lot of times, from what I understand, Brinks, I was trying to do some research. I think they have like do-it-yourself kits, but of course they have people that come and install stuff for people that need it.
Possible. Security and fire alarm systems installers.
And so this is, in general, kind of what she would do. I'm sure there's much more, but this is, in general, what she would be doing.
Ensure that alarm systems operate correctly and provide the margin of time home and business owners need to set emergency procedures in motion and prevent major damage. Installers use electrical layouts from blueprints and building plans to connect sensors, video cameras, and control panels into the electrical system of the building, making sure fires or burglars are unable to escape detection. They mount wiring, program the system, test circuits, and install backup batteries to create an airtight security or fire prevention system. Customer service and communication skills are important, as installers frequently work in customers' homes and need to understand the unique aspects of a property or of owners' habits. Home and commercial security firms are the predominant employer for security and fire alarm system installers. A high school education is typically required, and many installers have a related technical credential.
Related technical credentials. Again, we'll go over what she did, just the very general basic of what the description of what she did in the Navy. I'm sure she did a lot more, but it's pretty wild. So that's basically her job. I'm sure there's more to that. But yeah, so of course she has knowledge of security cameras inside and out, how they work, how they're wired up. She probably knows which ones are wired, which ones are wireless, just by driving by, looking at the camera. I mean, they get smaller and smaller, so I'm sure, you have to get a good look at them. But I'm sure if she's got a good look at a camera, she could probably know exactly, is a wireless one, what kind of brand, what's, is how vulnerable is it, everything, because that's her job, right? Pretty scary. Pretty scary. Here's Nancy Grace. I just had to play this part of the interview because they talk about her job, and I just love Nancy Grace's response to the question, and we need a little humor. But if you're coming in, we still got a ton more to go over with the lights in the car. I've discovered some new stuff we got plenty more to go over. So.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I heard you say earlier, Mr. Proudfoot, that your neighbors have been very, very forthcoming with their Ring camera info. And I was trying to determine if any lights were on, what, if anything, they may have caught. But I understand from your previous interviews that nothing of any evidentiary value was caught. And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the 2 flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all. We now don't believe that 2 flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
Yes. You're very correct.
You're very correct. Again, we've talked about this a bunch of times. I've worked with a couple of mothers and father with missing children, teenagers, and I've mentioned it many times. They will jump on the slightest clue, tip, hearsay, whatever, and especially when it comes to footage, holy cow, and they blow this footage off. And I would understand if they were trying to keep it hush-hush, but it doesn't come off that way, to me, it's suspicious.
Okay. Question regarding your vehicles. Ms. Proudfoot, what make and model do you drive? In Memphis, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's only one car at the home, is that right?
There was actually a work vehicle in the driveway at the time as well, but it hasn't moved. We can't give out that information because we don't have permission from her work.
I don't understand that. What?
About the make and model of the vehicle.
I have a work van that was also parked in the driveway.
Why is that? Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions regarding the doors.
Oh my
Do
gosh.
you have
oh
any
gosh. Excuse
home
me, I'm sorry.
surveillance?
That cracks me
anything-
up. Oh my gosh. Every time I see that. It's terrible. All right. One thing real quick. I want to jump over to this real quick. Let's see. Da-da-da. But yeah, her reaction is the best. What? Okay, real quick, guys, if you missed it earlier, this is missing 17-year-old Ava Phillips. I know this is somebody in the chat who's got a missing daughter or neighbor's daughter, something like that. This is Ava Phillips, who disappeared from school, 17 years old, Angleton. This is around Houston. This is in Texas, if I understand right. Yeah, Houston. This was yesterday morning. Ava was last seen by her high school at around 10 a.m. Did not return home. Her car was found in the parking lot with all of her belongings, including her phone. Ugh, that's terrible. Keys, backpack, and everything was left inside. Kaylee Prez, mother, says recently been trying to distance herself from a boy who had been emotionally physical. She's a sweet girl. She would never run away. And there's another picture of her here. Maybe that's her dad there. So anyway, just real quick, anybody that's in that area, if you have any information, you see her, please call 979-849-2383. Again, that's Ava Phillips, 17 years old, just went missing, I believe, yesterday, yesterday, because it says September 4th, and that was yesterday. Beautiful girl, missing from her high school. That is near Houston, Texas. All right. Sorry to sidetrack, but I do like to get help out people with missing people. All right. Yeah, that reaction. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's priceless. I had to play that. Plus, because they're asking about her job and stuff, and we're kind of
all
focused
that
on
would have given us an idea or a clue if the door had been opened or not, or a window.
Not directly from our house.
Well, then from where?
That's what we were hoping that neighborhood ring cameras and may have picked something up.
Gotcha. I want to go back to that night. You said you were up till
hoping neighborhood cameras pick something up, and there's
midnight. You were reading something.
And again, her job, installation technician, has a background in the Navy with communications, and we'll look at what that job entails. But clearly, she is very, very smart and has a lot of knowledge about how these cameras work, where they're vulnerable, and that is scary in this kind of situation. Again, this is all just theory, but with the neighbors or locals kind of saying that at least 2 cameras were wiped out, possibly 3. Is it a coincidence? I'd say maybe 1, maybe 2. But a former detective that I used to speak to always told me there's no coincidences when it comes to true crime. We got Shelby coming in with the $50 or Canadian $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Shelby, for the donation. You are so awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Please show her some love in the chat. I know I missed a couple here. Tom N coming in saying, love this channel, coming in late, keeping up the great work, Chris. So awesome the work you're doing. Thank you so much. Gail Hurd gifting another Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much, Gail. Member for 12 months. That's awesome. A whole year. Congratulations, Gail. Huge supporter. We got Honestly Me coming in, becoming a member. Thank you so much, Honestly Me. Maria Misses the South. Thank you so much for the $2.99 super sticker. And Tom coming in saying, sometimes I wonder if they wasn't just walking through the dark with the jammer and taking these cameras out at close range. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, yeah, it's this is supposedly happening around at 3 a.m. Um, yeah, I don't know that. And could they been attempting this earlier? You know, we talked about the screenshot of the date that the camera that it did actually capture lights, and the timestamp is stuck. Although I have been trying to research that, and if there was anything that has, when it comes to timestamps and jamming things, I haven't came across anything that I could say, this is what it could be. But I'm still researching. So, again, is it a coincidence that the cameras that got knocked out were wireless? Remember how we talked about if it's wireless, it's vulnerable. If it's wired, so the wire, I know this is not a wire, or I guess I could just use this, but if it's, this is your internet, your landline, and you go from your camera to your router, so you're hardwired, then you can, then it's not as vulnerable as for the jammer. And this camera that obviously captured the lights was hardwired. So obviously I don't think, so you have likely maybe 3 cameras getting knocked out. Those are all wireless. 2 at the very least. And then we have the 1 camera here that is hardwired that doesn't get knocked out. So again, it all kind of lines up with a possible jammer being used. And then again, why are they going up Kellen Ave? What was the point of going up there if you're just going right here? If you're just going to be parking around this area. Oh, keep in mind, yes, I'm glad you mentioned this. Everything that I mention, please understand, everything that I talk about has already been mentioned to law enforcement. So do keep that in mind. Now, the things that sometimes I do with my overlays, that might be something new. But information that comes from the locals, please keep in mind that has all been shared with the law enforcement. Person works with the security system would know all about it. Yeah, they would know the parts that are vulnerable. Yeah. Lexi Lynn says, wouldn't it be similar when power goes out but it jams the signal and malfunctions the clock? Yeah, I'm not sure. I've really been trying to look. I've been trying to go to forums and ask if anybody knows on how timestamps could be manipulated, or more or less frozen. And I haven't been able to find anything out yet. It is strange. Now, that could just be it could be one of the tiny coincidences. That is just a coincidence. With all the strange things happening with the camera, with the frozen timestamp. But again, we're somebody that does know a lot about cameras, and what their former job in the Navy, would have all the knowledge on how to manipulate certain objects. Or cameras, I should say. I still got some more. Much more. I'm trying to think what I have lined up next. I do have something with the car at the very end. I do think I have figured out what this entire thing is. I can almost tell you with about 80% what this entire thing is. All of this. And this is all thanks. I hope Joey's in here. If she's not, If anybody remembers Joy Jones, I think, has been in the chat a lot. She went out with her Nissan Altima or something, and I think she had her husband drive it. I asked if I could have some people maybe try to reenact anybody that had like a Nissan or Toyota in the early models, because we kind of talked about what the kind of car we're looking for. If you haven't seen that, maybe I shouldn't jump ahead. But anyway, she did a kind of reenacting, turning on the headlights in the dark. And oh my gosh, it literally like put a few puzzle pieces that I couldn't understand together about this. And I promise you guys will see it and be interesting to see what you guys think. So, but I don't want to get ahead of myself first yet. Could the car have picked up someone who was walking from the retaining pond as it turned around? Ginger Girl, that is a great question. It is interesting. I wondered, again, another reason they could have went down that road. We know the dog supposedly hit up straight up Kellen and into the retention pond. Could the car, drove over there and maybe had Sebastian in it, or had something of his scent in the car? I don't know. But I do think I like that question. It is interesting that, that is the way the dogs went too, right? So we got this car that supposedly goes the same way the dogs do. I mean, again, more coincidences that are they just that, or is it related? Anyway, okay. I know what I was going to do next. Okay.
At the front of our office.
Okay. So this is obviously what she also did, Katie Proudfoot, for 12 years, 7 months, nearly 13 years. Interior communications electrician. I've heard communications officer, but this is what that job entails. I'm just going to read just a brief statement from it. But they interior communications electrician. What they do, basically, let me get down to the nitty gritty. They work with phone systems, audio, video, entertainment, broadcast, communication, monitoring systems, navigation systems, environmental systems, visual landing aids, conduct network administration and maintenance, interpret and analyze ships' blueprints and system interface diagrams, inspect, test, make detailed casualty analysis, and direct maintenance and repair of electronic, fiber optic, electro-hydraulic, electromechanical, synchro and servo systems. So clearly, and it goes on, it says, you have to have a year of certain class. Pretty wild. So again, that's just what
from Amazon to see
Katie had done before Brinks, and probably allowed her to get into Brinks and do what she did. Which again, we're all just, again, I'm not saying that this is what happened and she's involved, but I'm just putting all the pieces out there that we know. So one of the things that I came across today is, because the big question is, why in the hell would this car turn down Stafford, especially if they knew where the cameras were? Why would they pull in front of the camera? Unless maybe they were trying to jam it. And maybe they were trying to do this as well.
if we can blind the security cameras at the front of our office. I also have an infrared light, which is invisible to the naked eye, but may be able to disrupt the security cameras.
Sorry if that's too long.
Be sure to watch to the end of the video, because the results may surprise you. I'm about 10 feet away from the camera. So now we're gonna take this flashlight and see what it can do. So turn it on, and so from 10 feet away, the camera was, and as you can see, the image goes black and white. Now, this infrared light is pretty interesting
wild.
because if I shine it, we actually can't see anything ourselves because it's in.
So what he did originally is he took just a normal flashlight to a normal security camera and just flashed it. Obviously blinded it, right? But if you wanted to be more inconspicuous, you would use an infrared light.
Visible. So you can see it's on right now, but there's nothing here. But if we shine it into the camera, it is actually affecting the camera, which is pretty cool. And I think we have disrupted the camera successfully because...
And you could not knock out the camera, but you could just blind it. So I do have a theory that maybe in some way they attempted to maybe knock this camera out in one way or another, maybe trying to use a flashlight or a jammer, and that's why they were trying to get a little bit closer to it. Again, it just, why would they turn on Stafford? It is a big question that I would love to get the answer to.
Can barely tell what's going on from the camera's image.
But that's pretty wild that you could take a
let's say this is
a
on my
flashlight
head.
like that and knock it out.
You cannot see my face at all.
Use it as a headlamp.
Okay, well, the infrared works pretty well, but so does our tamper detection. If we look on my computer and on my phone, we can see every time the camera's been blinded, we're getting a notification. We've seen...
Yes. It could be. It could be. It certainly could be. For the person that just texted me, it certainly could be. That's something I found today. Yep, okay, we got that. 534. Okay, we got that. All right. Sorry, just getting caught up. Sometimes my mods text me something. But anyway, that's pretty wild that you can knock out cameras that way as well with lights. It's pretty scary. Yeah. That's something I discovered today. And then, yeah, we got more. I promise you, I got a little bit more for you guys. So I do appreciate everybody being in here. We've got over 1,600 people. Please hit that like button. I got a couple more things to go over. I'm trying to think here what I've got next. Let me get to chat for a minute. She's way smarter than Chris. You're talking about PF, right? She's not, because she couldn't be smarter than me, could she? She's probably way smarter than me. I'll give her that. But yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. She's always quiet, though, you know, and Chris Proudfoot does a lot of the talking, yet she's the one that was there when he went missing, yet Proudfoot does like 80 to 90% of the talking. I've been rewatching old interviews on all the web, you know, because they went to Smiley's and other channels, and you know, she does talk a bit, but it's like she doesn't talk much, and it always just seems to be like they're not talking about Sebastian, just like nonsense stuff. And I understand some of that they have to address because, yeah, there is some, you know, some stuff that crazy people do, you know. Anyway, I want to get off topic. But anyway, all right. For those that have missed it, of course, another thing that I like to do on this channel is we do control tests. That's where we go out and we try to experiment with different things. And surprise, I can't exactly tell what we're gonna do until it's done, because I don't want to say it and then it not happen. But we may have a really amazing reenactment coming. But I have to see, everything has to line up. But yeah, stay tuned for sure. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to see, I reenacted the flashlights. I know most of you probably have been here and seen this. So I'm just going to go for the cell phone and just show you guys what that looked like. Which was... Oh, yep, right here. Sorry. So, there it is. That is the headlamp. But anyway, I looked at how far the camera was from where the light sources were coming from, and that's approximately 80 to 90 yards. So I went out into a baseball diamond field that was pitch black, and I went out 80 plus yards, and I walked in diagonal ways with the cell phone, a headlamp, and a flashlight, just to see what they look like and what looked good. And anyway, long story short, as most of you've seen, I did the normal, just light from the phone, and then I did the flashlight, which either one looks good. I guess it just kind of depends on the brightness of your phone itself. Would probably look just fine. But the flashlight as well looked really good, which is this one here. What it doesn't do is it doesn't illuminate the grass, which is something we don't see in the footage here. Whereas the flashlight and the headlamp, they're so bright that they illuminate the ground and clearly, or illuminate something that's near you. And we don't see that. So I'm assuming they used a cell phone. Or they could have used a headlamp that really had like a low light source on it. That still could be plausible. Car light test. I'm just going to go over one thing that I learned real quick. I noticed this car didn't have daytime running lights. Which means either it doesn't have daytime running lights, or it's got an option where you can turn the daytime running lights off. That's interesting. I also learned that when we had zoomed in on the footage, there was an exclamation point that kind of pops up on the reverse light. I noticed my car actually did the same thing, because I have the white reverse light that is in with the red brake light, because everybody's got different brake and reverse lights. But that tells me that there's a good possibility that the brake light, I think it's right here. Did I go past it already? I may have. Anyway, but anyway, yeah, when I put it in reverse, I got the exclamation point. Actually, I may show it here in a minute, which is interesting. Oh, yeah, here it is. So, I was able to get that with my car as well, which tells me it's a good possibility that that car has the reverse lights probably built in or just below the brake light, because you can almost see the separation of them as well. So I think if we started like kind of knocking off certain aspects to this suspicious vehicle, we could kind of figure out what most likely it could be by just narrowing down the size of it. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but I have something new I'm going to show you guys. I figured out, I have to go back to this real quick. I think I am 90% sure that I figured out what this is. I can explain all of this. So I do that here in just a minute, but where is the car? I think it's just before this. All right, I have a car in here that supposedly pops up, but oh, there it is. Right, God, it pops up so fast. So I think we're looking for something like this for the tail light, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But yeah. Remember, from the little tips that we know from the local is that the car is likely a sedan. We'll talk about some other things, but let me just show you this because I'm really excited to show this, and then we'll go back. I'm just so excited to show this. All right, we'll talk about the length and everything, but this just blew me away. I literally figured this out, or I shouldn't say figured this out, but noticed this like 30 minutes before I went live, and I freaked out. Okay.
Turn the brake.
So this is Joy, who watches the show. Oh, there she is. Huge shout out to you, Joy. Oh my God, you are amazing. And whoever helped you, if that was your husband, thank you so much. That was so awesome. And I'm going to show you something that I think you showed me that I did not, that really helps me out.
Brake lights out.
Oh, this was so amazing.
Wait, I never thought about that. If someone was sitting in the car with the car on.
So this is a Nissan Altima, Joy. Correct me if I'm right, or is it a Sentra or Altima? I want to say Altima. Because we believe it's possible it could be like a Nissan, Toyota, Japanese, kind of something in there. They're kind of notorious for the early 2000s for not having daytime running lights. Notice the car is on, no daytime running lights. And he has to put it.
Red light go out in the back?
They have to put it in park.
You have to park it.
So.
Okay, turn them all on.
So awesome, Joy.
Now back up.
I'm telling you, there's something that. Oh my gosh, it was huge, and it's right here. It's right here. And I'll show. I circle it, but. Oh my gosh, this was so amazing, Joy.
You have to park it. Okay, turn them all on.
I'll zoom in and everything
Now
and show you guys
back
here in just a second, but oh, this was so amazing. Okay, so this is them in slow motion, okay? I was overlaying. So I was overlaying the car. So that's the headlights, right? So originally, let's see. I wonder if I could just hold on one second. No, not that one. Nope, not that one. Give me one with the lights. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. This. All right. I originally thought this was the road being illuminated by the headlights, right? That's what I originally thought. I thought this was the road. Let me know in chat. Does that look like the road kind of being illuminated? You see me overlay it. You'd have the tail light, the headlight kind of here, and this is kind of illuminating part of the road. Let me know if you think if that's what you think it was. Because that's what I thought it was. Until Joy Jones' video, and it was like, holy shit. It's right there. And it literally almost does the same thing. She says, y'all, it's for Sebastian. He's number one. Thank you. You are number one, Joy. You are number one. I thought it was the road. I was 100% wrong. And thanks to Joy and her doing a reenactment for me, and it is not. So look, I line up I'm doing an overlay now with the car, right? That is like the fog or the mist. Notice, look, in it, you can see it in the screenshot here. One last time, this is Ava missing out of Houston, Texas. I'll mention her one last time before we head out, but okay, look how there's this like gap right here. Notice this gap right here, right? So that's supposedly the tail light. Notice that gap. And I thought maybe that was like a dip in the road, right? No, that's just the light. That's just the fog. That's just the fog. Or the mist, whatever you want to call it. Look at the car when the lights come on. Look how, why don't we have lights down here? Notice there's no lights down here. No lights in the tail light under here. That's what's like, I'm like, wait a minute. Well, why don't we have these? Shouldn't we have this? Shouldn't we have this? It doesn't line up. And then when I looked at the headlights itself, and especially when the car backs up, look at the gap right there. Look, like you got the light there, and then there's like a little bit of a gap, just like this. Almost at the same distance. I got goosebumps. That's the fog mist, whatever. I thought it was the ground, so now it makes it so much easier. So now I know this is the headlamp, which is amazing. So now I know exactly where that lamp is at, which I'm telling you guys, that's going to be huge. Oh, man. Thank you, Joy Jones. That's like, I thought for sure this was the ground. I know I keep saying that, but like I said, I just learned this like 15, 30 minutes before I started the show, because I was just researching their video, and it hit me like a ton of bricks when I watched that car back up, and I'm like, holy shit. That's the fog. Or mist or whatever. So that's a headlamp. And so look how that car lines up much better. I don't think that's the exact model of the suspicious vehicle car.
Sebastian Rogers,
but let me show you guys
a
real quick the
15-year-old
overlay.
autistic teenager.
Lights out. I never thought if someone was sitting in the car with the car on.
Yep.
Will that red light go out in the back?
God bless Joy Jones. That's
You have
so
to
awesome.
park
Bless your heart.
Okay, turn them all on.
And your family. Everybody. That's so awesome.
Now back up.
Right when the car backs up, look at the gap. Oh, it's just like so perfect. And so here's me overlaying. So here's the lights from the suspicious vehicle. Here's the tail lights. Again, I don't think it's that model of the Nissan Altima. I think it's close. I think we're getting closer. But that is definitely the headlights. So now I can be able to line this up. Definitely 14 to 15 feet. So this is what we know about the car. Neighbors believe it's likely a sedan. I'm sorry, it's not. I doubt they would be driving a newer vehicle because, one, you wouldn't want to be driving something that has an OnStar or infotainment in it, because they would be able to trace that. I think Alex Murdoch case, he got slammed because they were able to trace him driving around with that, with both in his system, in his vehicles. Obviously, the car is going to be likely darker, gray, black, familiar with the neighborhood, likely does not have daytime running lights, or as option you can shut it off, which means those are usually foreign Japanese early models, 2000 maybe up to 2012, around in there. And We did this. Remember, I did the length. The length is likely 14 and a half feet, which typical medium sedan is 14 feet long. Includes Toyota Camry, Nissan Altima, Sentra, Honda Accord, Hyundai Sonata. I think those are the cars we're looking for. In case, there's also another way to support. I do have PayPal and Venmo. It's not necessary, but again, I tell you guys, we do go out and search, and any donations through PayPal and Venmo definitely help for when we go out and search. But if you do, and if you can, please let my mods know so I can shout you out in the chat. But let me get to chat. I'm just gonna let this play for a little bit and read chat for a little bit before we finish up. So 1,700 chat, 700 likes. Smash that like button. Yeah, if you can, please smash that like button. Maybe I'll just recap a couple things too if you missed the show earlier. CBC with the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, CBC. Appreciate the support. That is so awesome. Saucy, that's a great name. Enjoy your work. Thank you for making us aware of your hard work. God bless you. God, thank you so much. Again, it's not just me. That goes to you guys as well. It does say Gail gifted like 15. Did she give 15? Did I miss Ginger as well? Gifting Mob Crew? Ginger, if I missed you, I'm so sorry. Sometimes they don't appear, especially if they kind of come in a bunch at a time. Thank you so much, Ginger, for gifting 5 Mob Crew memberships. I'm sorry if I missed that. I think I got all that. It says Gail gifted 10 Mob Crew memberships. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Gail. Believe says 2005 BMW sedan does not have running lights. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it still leaves a lot of vehicles for sure. But if you think about it, it knocks a lot out too, when you kind of... Okay, year 2007 has running lights. Interesting. Grandma Shirley says, you are so smart. I never would have seen the fog break. I appreciate that. But that really that is a combination of me and us working as a team. Oh, man. And that's funny. I read that comment. We're zooming in on that because I thought that was cement. I thought maybe there was like a dip and the lighting wasn't hitting that part. Sometimes there's like curves in the road, a divot or something. But man, after seeing the fog, woof, there's no denying that's fog. Or whatever. Ava was located? No, was she? Oh, that would be amazing.
Flashlight from Amazon to see if we can blind the security cameras at the front of our office. I also have an infrared light, which is invisible to the naked eye, but may be able to disrupt the security cameras. Be sure to watch to the end of the video, because the results may surprise you. I'm about 10 feet away from the camera, so now we're going to take this flashlight and see...
Sorry, I was going to back up and show that real quick. I don't see her. Some are saying she was found. I'm not seeing it. This one says 2 hours ago, search continues. Does anybody know in chat? Like, is there an article that's for sure she was found? I mean, I hope so. That would be amazing. That poor family. Again, this is coming from someone that's close, I believe, close to the family that watches our show. So, of course, we want to get that information out there. Tracy Ann says it may be a rental. It's not a bad theory. I would think you could be traced back to that, especially, but maybe you had a friend of a friend rent something. Yeah, definitely. I doubt, if this was an inside job, I doubt they're going to be driving. It would be a car that you're going to see them be driving after he disappeared. I guarantee it's going to be a car that maybe I wouldn't say no one's seen before, but
Meanwhile,
it's going to
the
be
vehicle in question is now
going to be like a
approaching
car
Stafford
like,
Street.
you know, like, oh, damn.
This behavior is odd, but
like some kind of extended family member, you know, that had an older vehicle or something. Yeah, Toyota Corolla. Yeah. Definitely a sedan, you know, small sedan, mid-sized sedan. So Ava was found. Wow, I don't see it. That's amazing. That's awesome. We call it due in Indiana. Yeah, this stuff here. Oh, there's where I did so here's me doing the measurements cut to cut. That's so the slabs, when they put those in, the slope curbs that are made from cement, obviously. When they pour those, they put in cuts, because when the cement dries, you know, cement eventually wants to crack, expand. So they put cuts in it so that way it lasts longer and doesn't crack. And so they usually do that at between 12 and 18 feet. And this one was measured for me, and that's a 12-foot cut. So we can see from tail light to headlight, we're about, I would say, 14 to 15 feet, which is about the mid-size sedan. And then here's the fog one more time. Oh, that's so awesome,
Will that
Joy.
red light go out?
You are a
back?
legend.
You have to park it.
That is so great.
Okay, turn them all on. Now back up.
Now, we're talking about the right Ava, right? Ava Perez, right? History, good to see you do forums at a certain time, if I remember correctly. Yeah, whatever that is, that, I mean, you know, yeah, whatever you want to call it, fog do, whatever. I mean, that is it. That's what's getting illuminated, for sure. Man, like I said, gave me goosebumps when I saw that. Anything else before we go? Let me check my phone. Again, thank you guys so much for coming in. Okay, couple of things before we go. We got Lou's Fig. I don't want to L Fig. I think I just saw them in the chat. Sending a $10 PayPal. Thank you so much. I'm trying to read the message, but it won't let me. Oh. Okay, one last thing. Hold on, guys. Oh, another tip sent in. Hold on. One second, guys. 1 second. Here. Oh no, did I get it though? Is it in the junk email? Oh. Oh no. I see hers. I may not see it. No. Oh. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe email it again. I'm sorry. I'll have to look again. Maybe it's just there and I'm just missing it, but yeah. But I'll definitely take a look at it. And then especially if it's something I can use for next show, I'll definitely use it. So a couple more things before we go. of course, I have a Patreon page that you can support me on. I'm going to be putting a video out for the Patrons. Members as well. I do stuff for the members. I also have a paranormal channel. I try to upload once a week, just video right now. I just started it, so there's only 3 or 4 videos on it right now, but going to be working on another one. Pet pictures for the outro. I'm working on those. Usually I do those all together, so if you send in a pet picture, if you're a patron or member, send me in a pet photo if you haven't already, because that's one of the perks. And I'm making an outro that I'll have for Friday's show. So, and then just one thing, if I don't respond, please don't worry, because I usually just snag them all together. It just makes it easier. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to find Aidan too. Oh, I would love to. Honestly, me coming in with another $1.99. Thank you so much. Black Widow, thank you so much. Yeah, I love to show visuals, and there's still more things that I'm discovering, but anyway. I am just looking at chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Allison says, wasn't Chris working on a small car of a coworker in the same trailer park as him on the day before Sebastian disappeared? I've heard about that, but I don't know what the vehicle was. Yeah, a lot of people mention that campground. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, a lot of people do. Holy cow. Yeah, borrowed car. Yeah, could be that as well, for sure. But I think, again, with those notes that I had earlier, definitely look at those. But we're going to continue to break it down, So anyway, I am going to head out, guys. I hope I got everybody's chat donations and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for the love and support, taking the time every day to watch the show. Again, I will be back same time Friday, and then I'll have a regular video tomorrow, and some stuff for the Patreons, and then hopefully the members as well. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, Fig, I'll look at it for sure. And then, it's a $100,000 reward now. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to solve this. All right, and another thing, special thanks to the mods, Copper Horse D, Jennifer, Jocelyn, Karen Lee, and Low 12. Thank you so much for helping us when we were a man down. I appreciate that. I don't know if I see it in here, but Low 12 helped us mod when we were short on a member. So thank you so much, Low 12, for doing that. But with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. And we will see you guys back here Friday. Much love to you guys.